Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Empowerment with Elizabeth. Today I am here with my sweet new friend Marielle, and she's going to chat with us about being a state title holder and her prep for Miss Volunteer America. So, Marielle, tell us a little bit about you.
So my name is Marielle Roberts-Mcdonald. I'm actually hyphenated for my last name because I was adopted when I was a little girl. So Roberts for my mom's side and then McDonald for my stepdad's side. I am 26 years old. I'm currently a third year medical student at Ross University School of Medicine. I am a tap dancer, which will be my talent for Miss Volunteer America, which I'll talk about later. And my serve initiative is entitled Making Miracles Happen Against All Odds. And I've been branding myself as hashtag she can do both because I think it's really important for my generation, for younger generations, to really know that you could be a state title holder and in this demanding field, whether it's medicine, it's law, it's science, because we really can have it all and there are no limitations in life.
I love it. I love it. So, talk to us about your introduction to pageantry. So, what got you interested? Who got you interested? And how did it get you to where you are now?
Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna go back about 14 years, which is hard to believe I've been in it for this long. So we're at, let's see, 2010. 12-year-old Mimi, that's my nickname, and that's what I used to always call myself growing up. And I was the typical teenager. I had acne, I had braces, I was an awkward, very awkward nerd, terrified to speak in front of any audience, in front of anybody. So I danced all my life since I've really been 2 years old. And my own, like the owner of my dance studio was like, hey, this would be perfect for you. Like, let's get involved in pageants. Like, this will break you out of your shell. You have a talent. At that point, I was already involved with Shriners Hospitals because I was treated there when I was little. So, okay, we have a volunteer passion already. So it kind of really all started there. And yeah, it just kind of grown into this love. And obviously, 14 years later, it's taken me 14 years to finally win a state title. And I think this just kind of really shows that it's about the journey and it's about the growth because I could not confidently say that I was ready to win a state title really until this moment.
I love it. I love it. You've mentioned already, your talent is dancing. So talk to
Yeah.
us a little bit about that and how you go about selecting a piece for state and then now nationals.
So I talked a little bit about dancing. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my medical history first. So I was diagnosed with hip dysplasia, and I'm not sure if you really know what that is. So every time I would stand up, my hips would pop out. And I would just keep on falling down. I'd wanted to walk. Well, my mom and my granddad told me that I would just keep falling down. So I went to a variety of different hospitals. And then finally, we saved the best for last, which was Shriners Hospitals for Children. And they avoided surgeries. They put braces on my hips. And for my quote unquote therapy, my physical therapy, they told me to start dancing. Started at 2 years old, grew a love for it. I'm still dancing now at 26 years old. No problems with my hips, thank God. Everything has been great. And to really kind of pick my talent, I was like, I have to do dance and I have to do tap dance. That was actually my first class. My mom, her motto was terrible twos, terrible threes. We're going to stick you in tap. You could be loud with your feet. So when you come home, maybe you'll be quiet. Obviously, that didn't happen. But no, I was actually a pretty good child from what I can tell, at least like what I've heard, but who knows what my mom was telling me. But when I really picked my talents, I wanted to get the audience involved. I wanted to kind of incorporate a variety of different genres other than just tap. So I have a little bit of point, I have a little bit of jazz, musical theater. It's kind of just to kind of get everybody moving and grooving because if y'all aren't clapping, then it's not a good tap routine, in my opinion.
I love it. I love it. And obviously, the talent portion is just one phase of competition. So I'm interested to hear what your personal favorite phase of competition is, and then a little bit about why that phase is your favorite.
Man, so I actually got asked this recently too. I initially was a talent galley. I love talent, but I've kind of been transitioning over to interview. And I think that's just really because now I have a marketing plan. Now I know what I want to do with my year, how I want to grow, specifically the Miss Volunteer America program in Pennsylvania. And I just love going into the interview and just being myself. I have to talk about three things. My six gremlins are my cats because they are my whole entire world. And if I'm not talking about my cats, it's not me, plain and simple. Next, I want to talk about my brand that I've been talking about, hashtag she can do both. and to kind of develop this mentality and to really get more girls involved in this organization who are in graduate schools. And then I also just love to talk about Shriners Hospitals and what I've been doing with them and how I've been volunteering with them since I've been a little girl, what I plan to be doing as well, where I want to be a pediatric surgeon and I want to eventually go back and practice at Shriners Hospitals for children. So it's kind of a full circle. So now interview is my favorite because those are the three things that are who Mimi is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you've already mentioned it a little bit, but obviously a major part of your interview is your serve initiative and all of the things you're doing with that. And that's also a major part of your year as a state title holder. So talk to us about your serve initiative, what you've been doing with it, and what your future plans are for it.
Absolutely. My serve initiative actually just started off with Shriners Hospitals for Children, where I was volunteering since I've been 7 years old. I used to raise $200 here, $300 there, half stuffed animal drives. And then it just started to evolve where I'd partner with a variety of different shrine clubs, starting off in Dallas, Pennsylvania. Then I migrated across Pennsylvania to Philadelphia area to Pittsburgh. And then I branched out nationally to New York, New Jersey. I've been to Texas, Virginia, and now Ohio as well. So it's kind of branched. And now looking at it on a broader perspective as Miss Pennsylvania volunteer, I think it's really important to kind of hit the generation specifically and to really focus on this mentality that there are no limitations in life and to really kind of give back to your community and serve your community. And now as a third year medical student, I was actually rejected 3 cycles. I got waitlisted. It was a rough time. It taught a lot about myself, about who I wanted to be, where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do in my life. And no matter the obstacles or the rejections, I kept going. So that's kind of where I added on against all odds because I'm living my impossible every single day. And now my new mission with on top of raising money for Shriners Hospitals for Children, but to take it to a broader aspect is, as you can tell, I've overcome a lot of different challenges in life and to really show young women, really all generations, that no matter what obstacle you're facing, whether you hit a brick wall or whether there's a giant mountain in front of you, I promise you there's a way, there's a will, there's a way, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Amazing. Amazing. And you've been kind of mentioning, it's about the journey. You mentioned that you have been competing for 14 years now and you've finally won your state title, which I'm sure you're just over the moon about. So exciting. So talk to us about what specifically you think the judges saw this year and why you think they decided to select you to represent your state.
Going into this year, I have a different mindset because I've competed for so long. I think it's really important. And what I really tell the girls, because most of my friends are actually in pageantry because we're the movers, we're the go-getters. We don't have time to grab lunch here and there. It's normally pick up the phone once a month and like, hey, what's new? Or we meet up at a different volunteer event. And I think what really set me up this year was I understand that all these girls are phenomenal. They all have these serve initiatives. They all have these talents. They all have this drive and all just a variety of different qualities. And it's subjective. And it's who the judges see as their Miss Pennsylvania volunteer and who they see that will fit that mold. So going into this year, I'm like, I know exactly what I want to do. I have my plan laid out, point 1, 2, and 3. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to move. I'm going to travel. I'm also going to be visible in social media. So I think what really helped this year was having that mindset of whatever happens, happens. If it's meant to be, it is meant to be. And to know that I have a plan and I'm going to stick with this plan, whether I'm a state title holder or just go back to typical third year medical student Marielle.
I love it. I love it. And obviously, you mentioned, you're like, I'm going to grow the brand. I want to grow the Miss Volunteer America brand. And your next pageant is going to be Miss Volunteer America, which I'm sure you're so excited for. So
Yes.
I feel very confident that you've already kind of come up with a plan probably for prep. So talk to us about what you're going to be focusing on for your preparation for nationals.
I still can't believe I'm still saying this. I'm going to Jackson, Tennessee in June. I have the whole month off from school and I'm just ecstatic. So to really prep for me is I've been really prepping, in my opinion, since I've started in pageants, actually even before I started in pageants, because I've had this heart to give back. I've had this drive to kind of do more. And I think it's really important on a national level, especially as Miss Volunteer America, you have to have this service heart. So for preparation for me, it's like a typical day where I'm interviewing or I'm interacting with different patients or physicians. I'm constantly going to the gym because that's my mental health relief is I'm going to the gym to run or to lift weights. My talent, I've been dancing since I've been 2 years old. And whenever I get to perform, I take advantage because that just defines so much of who I am and just kind of shows how much I've progressed over life and where I am at and in life now, still dancing. Yeah, so for preparation for me is just really working with the board, working with Team PA, Team Mimi, to make sure everything is fixing up the little tweaks because nobody's perfect. And from seeing from a different perspective, especially outside of my own eyes or my family or friends' eyes, I want to be the best I can be, and I want to be the best representation for Pennsylvania, and that's a team effort.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. And we've talked about it a little bit too, but obviously you're also serving as Miss Pennsylvania Volunteer, which is a full-time job in of itself. So
Yes.
talk to us about what your favorite appearance has been so far, or if you have one that you've already planned and you're looking forward to, you could talk about that as well.
So yes, Miss Volunteer America is a full-time job. Miss Pennsylvania Volunteer also, in my opinion, is a full-time job, which is why I promote hashtag she can do both. Because I'm
Mhm.
juggling this lifestyle of being a medical student and then being the state title holder to kind of show young women like, yes, it may be a little hard at times, but I have my planner with my cats on it. So every time I open it up, I have like the little warm and fuzzy feeling. And I'm like, okay, where am I at this day? What am I doing? I'm in clinic these set times, and then I have this appearance or this social media engagement. Or what a lot of people don't see is the behind the scenes with shooting emails or social media engagements, messaging, thanking our sponsors. So there's a whole different behind the scenes package that nobody really sees. So the one appearance I actually recently did was my first week as Miss Pennsylvania Volunteer. I went to my local shrine club close to my hospital that I'm currently rotating at, and I got to share my story about overcoming the obstacles I faced with my medical conditions at Shriners Hospitals for Children. And just to kind of set the environment, I've been talking at a lot of different shrine clubs about my treatment and then where I'm going. And this appearance was just so meaningful for me. Well, first, being a state representative as Miss Pennsylvania Volunteer, but second, I kind of went in there and I normally tell my story, say how I'm going back to eventually work at Shriners Hospitals for Children because I really am forever indebted to the treatment that I received. But the men surprised me and they actually gave me a lofty donation towards, I actually have $1 million goal in memory of my grandfather where I've helped raise over $350,000. And I talked about that and they donated a lofty donation in memory of him. And now I get to go back to the hospitals and donate this on their behalf on towards my grandfather's goal. And it just makes me tear up because normally I'm there tearing up the men based off my story. But then when you have that surprise and just really seeing how much you've impacted like the men in that room, it just warms my heart because that's what I do. That's why I'm here. You don't see the aftermath of what happens after Shriners Hospitals for Children. And my story is so unique because I do want to go back and practice. So that is just my most recent appearance. I'm just so humbled to have been there. And I'm excited to really continue to travel across not just Pennsylvania, but our nation to other shrine clubs to really kind of show the after effect of Shriners Hospitals for Children.
Wow. Incredible. Incredible. I'm sure you're so excited. Hard work paid off. That's awesome.
It, yeah, it's just still just so surreal to say, and it's yes, it is hard at times, but I think it's just really important to have that time management skill. And I was taught that from a little girl, thanks to my granddad who raised me, and he told me that you make time for things that matter to you. Well, we got my shiny crown over here. We have my family and my cats over here on my desk. So I'm like, okay, these two matter to me. And then obviously my medical career, but you might just get an hour or two less of sleep. And my grandfather always said you can sleep when you're dead. So
There you go. There you go. And our final question, if you could give one piece of advice to a girl competing at Miss Pennsylvania Volunteer next year, what would it be?
I would say don't put pressure on yourself.
Mhm.
I used to put so much pressure on myself. I'm like, okay, my talent has to be perfect. I have to get this exact phrase in on my interview. I have to do this exact pivot on stage for swimsuit. I think it's just really important to really take in the moment because now I'm looking back and I'm finishing up my career in pageants, going to nationals, and I'm never going to compete at states again. I'm never going to compete on a local level again. And I think I kind of missed a lot of just a lot of the time and a lot of the journey because I did put a lot of pressure on myself. Yes, I've loved the journey thus far, but I think I could have taken in more of it if I wasn't stressing about the little things, about trying to be quote unquote perfect, because nobody's perfect at the end of the day. We all have our quirks, we all have our loves, our uniques. Like it just kind of makes us human and it makes us who we are. And I think that's just really important going into pageant weekend and being there because you want to take in every single moment. And I know going to nationals, I'm going to be the exact same way. I'm not going to have the pressure of trying to make the top 15 or top five or take home the title. Yes, I would love to obviously win Miss Volunteer America because I really do think I could help grow the brand, especially on a graduate program level to bring in more girls. But at the end of the day, it's subjective. And I know who I am. I know exactly who I want to be in life. And either way, I'll be growing this program, whether it's in Pennsylvania or on a national level.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Marielle, for coming on and chatting with us about you and your title and all the awesome things that you've been doing. And just know that we'll be rooting you on at nationals.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This is just such an honor. And I just love supporting young women and their initiatives and their podcasts. And just thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Of course. And I will see the rest of you guys on our next episode. Bye, y'all.